Welcome back to the Frank Irwin Center. Texas basketball has come a long way since Karen Aston took over 6 years ago. Andy Lander sat down with Coach Aston at College Basketball Media Day to find out what's going on with Texas women's basketball.
With Karen Aston of Texas, sixth-year coach, you've averaged 26 wins a year the last 4 years. When you took Texas, when you took the job, is this what you envisioned where we're at now?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, Andy, you've been doing this a while, and you've got the history with where Texas was before, and you understand it. And I mean, it's definitely where we should be. You know, you're at a place where there's a whole lot to offer, and you should be able to entice student athletes to come to school at Texas.
Yeah, no question. One of the great jobs, one of the great universities in the country. And a lot of people, I think, today don't really realize Texas was UConn in 1980, 81, 82, 83. That era of women's basketball belonged to Jody Conrad and the University of Texas. They led the country, or they led the Southwest Conference, both men's and women's basketball, in attendance. Not only were they going undefeated, were they winning championships, like UConn, they were packing the place.
Oh yeah, they were
so it is a place with great history.
Yeah.
Has that been an asset, or has that been a liability?
Oh, great history can't be a liability. I mean, it just can. It's how you use it and how it motivates you. But I mean, the first thing I would say is young people aren't interested in history.
You're right. You're right.
It does help with.
I'm a good example. I failed history in 3 states.
Yeah, they don't care. They do not care. I will say this much: when I first arrived back, it was not something they wanted to hear about at all, because we just hadn't been at a place where they could process it and own it. But I do think as we've built and the better we've gotten, the maybe even gained some Texas talent back.
Sure.
I think then you start to get that sense of pride that, yes, we've been there and done this, and we are proud of our history, but we are who we are, too. I think kids want to be acknowledged for what they've done. They want to stay in the moment. They don't want to hear about what's always been done in the past. They want to have their own legacy, and I think that was an easy part to sell for that young group we had.
You've done an unbelievable job of selling Texas basketball to the best players in the country. You mentioned the state of Texas. Great state for girls high school basketball. But you've also gone national, all over the country to get the best players, the players that you have felt would make Texas better. Maybe, probably, more All-Americans than anyone in the country. Is this a basketball team that in your mind can compete for the national championship? Are you there now?
First of all, I will say that the plan was to get the Texas players to stay home.
Sure.
I think when I came back, that was the thing that was alarming to me, was that they weren't staying home, and I didn't understand why. I didn't think, you know, I didn't understand why they didn't want to play in the Big 12, why they didn't want to stay in the state of Texas, and so that was a big plan, was to try to get the best players in the state to stay at the flagship university, and we've been able to do that. And then after you do that, then you can branch, I think, nationwide, which is what you should do at Texas also.
Sure.
So the plan was laid out, and, you know, I had some terrific staff members and assistants that, you know, they took that thing and ran with it, and I was smart enough, and I say this all the time, I mean, I don't know if I can coach or not, but I know how to hire people. And the best thing I did in the beginning was hire Texas Exes. You know, I hired people that really had a proud history at Texas. In Travis, Jay Lee, was from the state. Amy Bradley. I mean, you can just go down the line. Everybody was.
They were already invested.
They were Texans, yeah, and they understood the culture. So that was a good start for me. Are we ready to compete? I would say yes. I definitely think we're at a, and I really, Andy, I thought we were a couple of years ago. I thought we got We got a tough draw, and that happens sometimes. You know as well as I do.
Absolutely.
Sometimes you think you're playing as good as anybody in the country, and I do think that we had a chance at it a couple of years ago to get to the Final Four, and we just we ran into a buzzsaw with UConn, and that was Brianna's last year, and it was a tough draw for us. Otherwise, I think there would have been that chance to jump on that stage then. But fast forward, that's over, done with, nothing we can do about that. But I do think that we're at a place with leadership and with Brooke and Ariel and Audrey. I do think that we have that stability with our senior class that understands the highs and the lows of a season, and then some good young players to go along with it. Chemistry always matters. I'll never forget, you know, us going to the Final Four when I was an assistant at Texas, and you know, we graduate a couple of players. We bring in National High School Player of the Year, and we just couldn't get it right that following year. I mean, you beat us.
It happened.
Matter of fact,
it
remember
happens.
that?
Yeah.
We won over 30 games, but we got knocked out early in the tournament, and I would have never guessed that would have happened. So, with teams, I would say young women in particular, chemistry matters.
Chemistry important.
Is huge.
Great conversation with two great coaches. We'll be back after the break with the second half action here in Austin.